We'll start with the breaking news. It's certainly trending on Twitter, and people are talking about it on all forms of social media, including Fox News, CNN, and MSNBC. And that is another woman coming forward claiming that Donald Trump sexually harassed her. Her name is Amy Dorris. She is a former model, and she is now accusing President Trump of sexual assault. She says that Donald Trump once sexually assaulted her at the U.S. Open tennis tournament in New York. And Donald Trump would attend that event pretty much every year. The Guardian interviewed this woman. She alleges that Trump forced his tongue down her throat, which is very off-putting in the morning, assaulted her all over her body, holding her in a grip she was unable to escape from while outside the bathroom in his VIP box at the tournament. She claims that the alleged assault took place in September 1997 when she was 24 years old. She provided the outlet with her ticket from the tournament as well as photos of her with Trump in New York at the time. Dorris was dating Jason Bin, a media entrepreneur and friend of Trump's, whom she said brought her to the event. Now, as I mentioned, she did this interview with The Guardian, and she explains to them exactly how it started. Have a listen to this.
You know, he was very flirty, came on very strong right away. You know, it seemed, you know, kind of typical of certain guys, you know, people who just feel like they're entitled to do what they want and flirt. And even though I was there with my boyfriend.
That's really weird because she's there with her boyfriend who happened to be one of Donald Trump's friends when she alleges this took place. That even makes it more bizarre. Not that it's never okay to sexually assault a woman. But then she goes into detail and she describes the incident further. Have a listen to this.
I went to the restroom and, which by the way there's a door that you go through and the restroom is hidden behind it, so it's not visible to anybody that's in the box. When I came out of the bathroom, Donald was waiting outside the bathroom, and initially I thought that he was waiting to go to the bathroom, but that wasn't the case, unfortunately. I don't remember what he said, but he was said something, but I was just like, no, and I was like nervous, laughing, like, no, you know, get away. But then he just grabbed me, and he just shoved his tongue down my throat, and I was pushing him off, and then that's when his grip became tighter, and you know, his hands were kind of, it's like very gropey and all over, you know, my butt, my breasts, my back, like everything. But he was just like, his grip was hard. You know, you couldn't pull away.
That's just utterly disgusting to even hear those types of details. But a lot of people are going to say, why come forward now? Which I think is a fair question. Why come forward decades later, all of a sudden, 2 months before the election? And I would be asking that same question to about any candidate if a woman came forward. So she was asked that question, and here's what she said.
I chose to come forward now because I feel like I've spent a lot of years not speaking up about it. I feel sick, violated. It makes me sick. And I think that I've been really quiet about it for a long time, and I don't know, I just feel like I don't want to be quiet anymore.
So here's my thoughts on this. Will it change people's votes at this point? Absolutely not. If you're one of those people that is still going to vote for Donald Trump, when we already have had 25 plus women come forward that have accused the president of sexual assault or rape, including his ex-wife, another woman coming forward is not going to change anything. Now, you ask me, do I believe it or not? You say, well, Brian, you hate Donald Trump. You're a hater. You're looking for anything to attack him. Well, here's the deal.
There's some truth to that,
okay,
Brian.
well, here's the deal. There's some truth to the fact that Donald Trump has a history with women. Not just the 25-plus women that have accused him of rape, including his ex-wife. He's also bragged about sexual assault in the audio recording that we heard. So, yes, is it possible that we could see women come forward that are lying? Sure. But it's also possible that we could be seeing women come forward that are telling the truth. Here's why I believe her. First of all, she has proof that she was there. That's very important. She has proof that she was in the VIP box. This wasn't a random woman that didn't know the president. In fact, her boyfriend was one of the president's good friends at the time. So she was in that box. She was there. That's established. That's not debatable. That's number one. Number two, you look at Donald Trump's history. And history is important. When you have dozens of women that have come forward that have accused Donald Trump of basically doing the exact same thing, I would tend to believe this story rather than going after a politician that has never been accused of sexual assault, has never had anyone come, and all of a sudden somebody comes forward. I was consistent with Joe Biden as I am consistent here, and I will say that women, yes, they deserve to be heard unless they're proved not credible. And yes, Joe Biden had one woman, Tara Reade, come forward who changed her story several times, who has a criminal record. I don't find that very credible, and that has nothing to do with politics. If it comes out that this woman has a history of issues with law enforcement, then that will also hurt her credibility. But I believe this woman, it's not going to change anything. I really believe that. This isn't going to change anything. You could have 10 women come forward right now and accuse the president of rape, and it won't change anything. If you had a video of Donald Trump raping a woman, yeah, that would probably change something. But there would still be people that would vote for him. I truly believe that. I really do. What makes this woman's story even more credible is that her friends and family have corroborated this story. So this isn't something that she held on to, and all of a sudden she decided to speak out about it a couple months before the election. She told her friends and family about this years ago. That also, to me, gives her some credibility here. Now, I don't expect the president to respond to this. Of course, the president will deny it. I would love to be able to talk to her friend, who was her boyfriend at the time, find out if he knew about this story, because that's very important. But anytime a woman says that she was sexual assaulted, anytime a woman says that she was violated, the first thing we should do is listen and hear her out. Does that necessarily mean that every woman is telling the truth? Of course not. But when and I go back to because a lot of people want to talk about Jussie Smollett. A lot of Republicans want to talk about that, which has nothing to do with this, but I'm going to bring it up. Because when Jussie Smollett came forward with that story, say most people believed it, and there's nothing wrong with that. When somebody comes forward and says that they are the victim of a crime, we should all believe and listen unless they give reason otherwise. Now, as evidence came forward in the Jussie Smollett case, we learned that Jussie Smollett was full of you-know-what, and he committed a crime. It's obvious. He hired two men to stage an attack. And we all know that now. But if somebody doesn't give you reason to believe they're lying, if somebody doesn't give you reason to believe that they're not telling the truth, then I'm going to believe them. And when Tara Reade's story first came out, and of course now we're talking about Joe Biden because I try to be fair on this show. When her story first came out, I was listening. I was reading. But as the story came out and then weeks passed and then months passed, and we learned that within a couple months she changed her story several times. How do you call somebody like that credible? I go back to the Supreme Court and Brett Kavanaugh. I was one of those people that wanted to hear what took place, but she lost a lot of credibility. And the reason why she lost a lot of credibility, she didn't remember a lot of things. She was very sketchy with a lot of stuff. She didn't know who drove her home that night. Nobody else corroborated the story. There was no proof that she was there. So she lacked credibility. And credibility is very important in these cases. And when I go back to Tara Reade, she lacked credibility. So there's something where, somebody accuses Kavanaugh of rape. I don't believe that woman. I don't believe Kavanaugh sexually assaulted that woman. I really don't. I think he's a dirtbag, but I don't think he's a rapist. There are two very different things here. When I go to Joe Biden, we have one woman that's come forward who's changed her story several times, who's gotten into it with law enforcement before. She has a criminal record. Zero credibility, very little credibility. Now, if people want to come forward, this woman, Amy Dorris, and she has issues with the police, and she's, got fabulous lawsuits, and she has a criminal history, and she's proven a liar, and she changes her story, then I won't believe her. But right now I do. Based on what she said, based on Donald Trump's past, I believe her. JD, you think it's wrong to believe this woman and what she's saying?
Ryan, what bombshell story that's come out about Trump in the last 2 years have you not believed? Has there been one? I can't think of one. I mean, every single thing you always believe. Every single thing.
That's not what I asked you. I asked you, is it wrong to believe this woman?
Is it wrong to?
Yeah.
I don't believe her, Brian.
Why do you not believe her?
Well, let's see. The U.S. Open, the actual U.S. Open started today. So
no, it didn't. We're talking about the U.S. Open tennis tournament.
Right, but ambiguously, people hear
this has nothing to do with the golf tournament.
People hear the word U.S. Open, and a lot of Trump supporters are going to watch the U.S. Open. So the fact that this happened at the U.S. Open,
I don't know what you're talking about. This is the tennis tournament, not the golf tournament.
Hey, don't interrupt me. What are you doing?
You're talking about I'm trying to correct you.
No, I don't. No, you're not trying to correct me. You're interrupting me. You're not letting me finish.
Okay, I don't think you understand.
Because I do understand, but you're not letting me finish because you don't.
Okay,
you don't.
I'm sorry. It was the U.S. Open golf tournament. Go ahead.
No, I know it was the U.S. Open tennis tournament, Brian. What I'm saying is the actual U.S. Open golf tournament started today. So having this make news with the word U.S. Open attached to it will grab the attention of those who are watching the U.S. Open golf tournament today. This happened 23 years ago. His presidential election the election is in less than 50 days. You don't believe Tara Reid? I don't believe this situation. Where were the witnesses? And I thought Donald Trump had these very, very small hands. Since when do small hands get such a tight grip on somebody, Brian?
Do you want me to respond to what you're saying?
Yeah, please respond to it.
You're telling me because Donald Trump might have small hands. If I can please finish now. I can please finish now.
Oh, okay.
You're telling me that because Donald Trump has small hands.
So now you're just taking one thing
If I can please finish. You gave me 3 seconds. If I can please finish now. Thank you. You're telling me that you just mentioned Donald Trump's small hands, and because Donald Trump might have small hands, that leads you to believe that's one of the reasons why you don't believe he sexually assaulted this woman?
You're cherry picking what I'm saying.
You just brought it up, not me.
You're cherry picking.
You just brought it up,
and you're trying to discredit everything that I'm saying by cherry
I
picking.
wasn't done. You interrupted me again. I was going to mention some other things.
Brian, you interrupted me.
You just asked me a question.
I tried to respond, and because you didn't like my response,
okay,
because
please tell me. Please tell me when you're finished.
You interrupted me.
Please tell me when you're finished. You were asking me a question. When you ask me a question, I'm going to respond.
It seems like every single week there's some type of bombshell coming out about Donald Trump. There's something that's happening every single week. And we'll see probably 7 or 8 more of these things. We'll probably see 2 or 3 more sexual assaults come out before the election starts. Every single week until the election, there will be something like this that is planted in the media, that is pushed through all the left-wing mainstream outlets that comes up on shows like these. That's what's going to happen, Brian. And so, no, I don't believe that this took place. Also, where are the witnesses? Where's her boyfriend? Who was there that saw anything like this happen? And the fact that, again, 23 years ago, 1997 U.S. Open, ambiguously, coincidentally released on the same day of the actual U.S. Open, and people that are watching the U.S. Open, in my opinion, a lot of them will vote for Donald Trump because a lot of people that watch sports will vote for Donald Trump. There's no coincidences here, Brian. It's all connected, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's conspiracy theory, but I'm saying there is a conscious media effort, a draw out to release something every few days or every single week to make Donald Trump look bad or to disparage Donald Trump. So no, I don't believe that this took place. Also, I don't think that Joe Biden sexually assaulted Tara Reid for that matter. That came out 6 months before the election, and like you said, her story changed several times. I brought up Donald Trump because he was attacked so many times for having these tiny little small hands. Well, my question is, how could a guy with such small little weak hands be able to have such a strong grip? That's my question. Obviously, it's more of taken in jest. But that's my rhetorical question, Brian. So yeah, please go.
First of all, one of the most idiotic things that I've ever heard, and ignorant things I have ever heard.
Okay, Brian.
Can I finish my statement now?
Well, you called me an idiot.
Okay, first of all,
if you're going to call me an idiot, if you're going to say ignorant and idiotic, I'm going to respond in kind.
First of all, are you going to let me talk or not?
Let's
play the buzzer again. He's not going to let me talk.
You call me a she?
He's not going to let me talk.
Yeah,
can I talk, please?
No, let's settle this.
Okay, so you're not going to let me talk.
If I insult you,
let's take a break. He's not going to let me talk.
If I insult you,
first of all, Stop it with your defenses.
And you respond,
I didn't call you an idiot. I said you said something that was an idiotic thing to say.
Okay,
if you're going to be that sensitive, then just leave, because I'm not going to do a 3-hour show with you.
What are you talking
yes,
about, Brian?
you know exactly what I'm talking about. I said you said something. Will you
can
stop it with these 10-year-old arguments? Can we just have a conversation?
You're the one that insults me constantly, Brian.
I said you said something idiotic. Stop it.
Insult me, and when I respond, say I'm interrupting you. It doesn't work
then
like
take over the
that.
rest of the segment, because I'm not going to do a 3-hour show with you if you're going to act like a 10-year-old girl and be defensive. I said what you said was idiotic. I'm sorry if that hurt your feelings. Go jump off a cliff if you're insulted. I'm sorry if I insulted
it did not hurt my
then
feelings,
let me finish
Brian.
and make my statement.
You have so
then let
much,
me make my statement.
You have so much empathy that you just told me to jump off a cliff.
Let me make my. Boy, you are just the most sensitive.
I didn't say that.
Defensive. Can I make my statement, please, without you? I mean, this is just. Take a break. Take a break.
Please make your
take
statement.
Take a break.
Brian.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back right after this. This is the Vegas Take. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp Ed Shapiro talking about a situation that took place with this woman, Amy Dorris, who says Donald Trump groped her back in 1997. Just wanted to give my thoughts and my opinion. And what I was about to say a few moments ago was this. The fact that Donald Trump has small hands has absolutely nothing to do with whether he did or didn't grope a woman. That just doesn't make any sense to me. It makes zero sense. I don't care if your hands are an inch. I don't care. I don't care how small your hands are. That's not a defense. Well, he couldn't have sexually assaulted a woman because he has small hands. Now, you want to talk about, well, there's no witnesses. Well, we don't know that. We're still getting to that point. But it's my personal opinion, when somebody has a history, and Donald Trump certainly has a history, he has over 25 women that have accused him of sexual assault or rape. If there's a history there, including his ex-wife in court documents, then that's why I believe it to have happened. And if Joe Biden had 25 women that accused him of sexual assault, which he doesn't, I believe he has one, then I believe it's more believable. I mean, I go back to, Bill Cosby, for example. Harvey Weinstein. These are not people that, raped or sexually assaulted one woman. And one woman, by the way, is one too many. And it's very possible. But when you hear stories of multiple women that come forward, I'll put Bill Clinton in the mix. I believe personally that Bill Clinton probably has sexually assaulted women. I think that's very believable based on Bill Clinton's past. And I put the same thing, as far as what Bill Clinton has done in his life, to Donald Trump. And I don't think that's a stretch. And it's not because Donald Trump has small hands that I'm not going to believe it, or that there weren't any witnesses at the U.S. Open that may or may not have seen it, which, by the way, we don't know. I put Bill Clinton and Donald Trump in the same category when it comes to women. I think they're both scumbags. I think they both have probably sexually assaulted women at some point in their life. I think they both are cheaters. They both treat women terribly. And I don't care if Bill Clinton is a Democrat or a Republican. I don't care if Donald Trump is a Democrat or a Republican.
You wouldn't say that you put Bill Clinton in a worse light for how close he was to Jeffrey Epstein, knowing who Jeffrey Epstein was?
I'm not going to put it at levels.
Okay.
What I'm simply saying is this. I believe they both have sexually assaulted women. I'm putting it in the most general terms as I can, because I'm not being biased here, because I look at somebody's history. So I ask our listeners this very question. When you hear this story, do you believe it? Obviously, JD doesn't believe it. Whether it's because he has small hands or maybe there may or may not have been witnesses, I disagree.
That was said in jest, Brian.
I know. Well,
obviously, it wasn't one of my main reasons why I don't believe it.
I don't even know why you brought it up, to be honest with you. But hey, if you want to bring that up, that's up to you. But I ask the listeners, do you believe it? Do you not believe it? Do you think this is possible? Will it change your mind when it comes to Donald Trump, if it hasn't already, with all the other women that have come forward?